Welcome back here to Stellar Field. Tyler Kamlitz alongside Noah Seeley from the Falcon Media Sports Network, and we're honored to be joined by Paul Hooker here, the lead donor of this renovation project for Stellar Field. Paul, great to have you on. Thanks for coming.
Honored to be here. Thank you.
Of course. So Andrew Heffernan, the new pitcher in the game for the Falcons, as he's facing off against Cam Bryant. Heffernan this season 0-3, 10.54 under an average, 13 and two-thirds innings pitched. 4 appearances, all of them have been starts up to this point. 10 strikeouts to 5 walks. What's it been like, Paul, to see the players playing on this turf field today?
It's a feeling I will never forget. I've gotten to know the players, know Coach Halleck, and to see all this all come into play the way that we all hoped it would is just amazing. I mean, it truly is. It's just such a gorgeous complex.
Yeah, and I know I talked to you when I was interviewing you for the story I wrote about how this, renovation project came to be. I asked you how you thought you were going to feel when you saw it. You didn't really have an answer for me. You weren't sure. What are the emotions like today?
Well, today's the first time I saw it. I was at spring training all week in Arizona with Cleveland watching my team. And when I got in here and walked in, I mean, a tear came to my eye. I could not believe this finished product. Just amazing. Amazing.
Heffernan gets a big swing and a miss, and that's going to be a strikeout of Cam Bryant. Good first at-bat for Heffernan into the game, first out of the inning. And, I mean, this is a project that, you look back at some of the articles you pull up when you look at Stellar Field. It's been talked about really since, I've seen since the 2000s, but I'm sure way before that, of all the talks of putting in turf.
Well, I know that Coach Halleck told me at one point that we were either the only MAC team or one of 2 that did not have a turf field. And I'm thinking in Northwest Ohio, of all places, you got to have a turf field.
Yeah, it's kind of incredible the work that the team had put in for that, natural field over the years to try to get it ready. And to now see them just have to bring out, yesterday just bring out a rake and move around a few pellets. It's a lot easier now.
Exactly.
All they really have to do is lower the flag now.
Yeah, this really helps recruiting, too, to have a field like this that you can show players who you're recruiting.
Grounder chopped up the short, fielded by Scheiderer. His throw's going to draw Salvioni off the bag, skip past him, but Boyd will hold up at first. Probably going to be rolled a single there if I had to guess. Yeah, and this really is just a terrific finished product. I think, what really stands out, too, is all the padding there, too. It almost feels – the only thing that really feels like Stellar Field now is the trees. Outside of that, it just feels like a whole different ballpark.
It is a whole different ballpark. I mean, to see the padding, to know how the university got together and changed to put these on 4-foot footings instead of 6-foot to allow the padding to be put in. It really did take a village. I mean, the administration, the people of the administration really helped make this thing possible.
Bunt showed and pulled back by Harmon. I mean, you talked about it there, though, just the, you were the lead donor in this, $1.5 million towards it. It was a $3.4 million project total. A lot of that other money coming from all these alumni that got together and really rallied for this program, the same core group that rallied to bring the program after it was dissolved for 2 weeks in 2020. How cool was it to be a part of that that community coming together for this team and this program and university?
No, it was great, and it certainly took the village. I mean, we're very fortunate, my wife and I, to be able to share our God-given gifts, and nothing better to share it than with the students, student activities, student engagement at Bowling Green State University. So we're very proud and happy, but that was just the finisher to put it over the top. The amount of people that donated, the community, these guys that got the original group that got baseball back, and they all did everything. So, no, I don't deserve really much of the credit.
2-2 the count now. It's going to be dribbled over to first, fielded by Salvioni. He looked to second, didn't throw it, steps on the bag at first for the out to retire Harmon. Second out of the inning. And that will bring up Taylor Harris as Cameron Boyd advances to second. Well, I know you also helped with putting a lot of money towards the multi-purpose field that is now used by the band and intramural sports. And That one's amazing as well. Driving past that at night with the lights on is a special sight to see all of the students using that or the band practicing on that.
Well, that was a double whammy. When we got John Waters here, the legendary band director, was second largest band in the country, 425 members. And then, in addition to that, is the club sports, and that was a double whammy that was going to affect so many students. And sure enough, you get people, the students using that at 2 in the morning because of all the club sports and the use they get out of it. And I couldn't think of anything more impactful than that. For Margot and I, it's all about the student engagement, and because.
As this ball is flown out, fairly deep left field. Tackett's going back. He's looking up, and this one's going to be out of here. Taylor Harris, a 2-run, a home run over the left field wall into the trees, and it's now an 8-2 ball game. Ohio up. Well, I mean, you talk about, though, like, getting the community here. Good crowd today coming out for a game that got moved up as well.
Not only that, it's chilly, it's sunny. You can look around, see people bundled up, but I'm really happily surprised to see the crowd support at the game.
Well, that's kind of been, the trend, especially for someone like in my position now as a senior, kind of seeing this program evolve record-wise from a student media member perspective. Just the crowds grow over the year, and the support around this program has been incredible to watch as well.
Well, we've got a fantastic head coach in Kyle Halleck and his assistant coaches. And, when you have leadership from the top like that knows baseball the way he does, I'm just very proud and happy that he was re-upped a few years ago, his contract with his coaches, and so he's going to be here.
This pitch is driven out to center field by Tyler Stack. It's going to be put away by Paulie Mancino for the final out of the inning. We're going to stick here through the 7th inning stretch as we got Paul Hooker on the broadcast with us. You talked about, Coach, there. You guys seem to have developed a really cool relationship from an alumni and a current coach perspective. Can you talk a little bit about that, how that started and how it's evolved?
Yeah, sure. I've been involved with baseball all my life. I was a varsity baseball coach in New Jersey for 7 years and had some success there. And I went to clinics every year for 20 years, so I felt I knew the game. And when I went to Tennessee and met Coach Halleck, and we would talk for a couple hours at night, and it was so refreshing to see somebody who really knew the game. And I said to him right away, I said, where'd you get your knowledge of the game? And of course, Chris Strickland, who was his coach at Kent State, went on 10 years to Georgia. So my point of this is whenever I speak to somebody who really knows the game of baseball, I always ask them where they got it. Mine was 20 years of going to clinics. And Coach Halleck and I, we're always comparing notes on stuff. And whenever he's like my mentor, so whenever I see a situation, MLB, anything that goes on, first and thirds, double cuts, I always send him a text and I'll ask him about it.
That's so cool. I know one of the most fascinating parts of this whole story of how it came to happen when I talked to you was the Nick Good story. Of Nick Good and the steak dinner. Can you talk about that a little bit and, maybe how consequential that is in this whole thing if that doesn't happen?
It is consequential, and it happened that 2 years ago the boys were going down to play the University of Tennessee, and Tennessee was preseason 8th ranked in the country, and they ended up winning the national championship that year.
Heck of a team that year.
So the guys coming through the line, and I said, hey, I'm going to go to Tennessee, and I'm getting more pumped on myself. And I said, and I'm buying all you a steak dinner. Well, I forgot about it. I said, well, that's not going to happen. Nick texted me 2 days later. He said, Mr. Hooker, I just got to tell you, the team and I can taste that steak right now. And he called me out. So I had to go down, and we went out and had a steak dinner, and it was, So Nick spoke this morning at the breakfast, and he almost brought a tear to my eye because he talked about that and talked about mentorship that he become good friends too.
That's so cool, and that's as this is grounded up in the middle by D'Lo DeVico. A diving stop by Henson, but that's going to be in the outfield turf. Give a single to D'Lo DeVico, his second of the day. He's reached base in all 3 plate appearances.
But the other thing to finish that, I met his parents today, and dear God, it was just, the pride that they have and the pride that I have knowing him, and this is really what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's just about the experience of the student athletes here.
Well, I think that's been the coolest thing from my perspective of seeing what Coach has done with the program is his commitment to tie it back to the alumni, whether it be the university alumni, the baseball specific alumni, of making sure that not only that the players are aware of it, but they see these people, they hear from these people, and that it's all tied into one community.
I agree. I mean, the 14,000 undergrad at Bowling Green, 85% are Ohio residents, 30% are first generation. That was me. That was me.
Talk about those type of relationships that you build with like-minded people, like the kids on this team, the young adults on this team. It's incredible, isn't it?
It really is, because as I speak to every one of them, 85% being Ohio, and Ohio is small towns and farms. And I was the other side of the tracks from what I had, and I find, and I'll student teach things here. It's not student teach. I'll guest teach, and I find that I basically said, I am you, and you are me. Same thing. Everybody's got their stories, but you got to pull through it. I had tough situations growing up, and you cannot use that as an excuse. So I really enjoy sharing that with the students and student athletes.
Carter Motice down on strengths brings up Zach Corky with a runner on first. One out in the inning now. Ohio leading 8-2 again, joined by Paul Hooker. Here, the lead donor of this renovation project. Had a long time coming for Stellar Field and its over 60-year history. The new turf, new padding. You got turf in the bullpens. You got the lights, which I don't know if you were able to see that yesterday.
I flew in late, so I missed that.
Yeah, it was an incredible sight, seeing it lit up at night, and it almost felt a bit weird watching a night game at Stellar Field, just something that we weren't used to, but
Exactly.
It was a terrific sight.
I had one of my friends who was here, and he taped the first pitch, and he sent it out to me, and I got chills thinking of this complex has come to this point where you can have a night game here. It's terrific.
Yeah, and that was a cool situation too, where that game wasn't supposed to be a night game, but you have the wind. Right. And, head coach Kyle Halleck goes, to Ohio, hey, you guys mind moving it back a couple hours? Can we get a night game, avoid some of the winds? And they agreed. And it was just a great game, 7-0 win for Bowling Green in that as well. Great performance to really usher in the new era of Stellar Field.
Sammy going yard on the granny. I mean, that doesn't get any better than that. So I gave him a big hug when I came in. I said, man, you really started it off right.
Now, I don't know if you know the backstory behind this as well, but Sam Seidel is a graphic design major and designed all the decals for the wall. Talk about how just storybook ending or beginning it is to have him hit the first home run.
Well, I knew he was in graphic design because he had sent me something he had done before. And the thought of that he did that, and then, of course, hit the home run. And Sam is just such a good ball player.
Ball's driven to right field. That'll settle in front of Hill, the right fielder. Going to be a base knock for Zach Corky. Runners on first and second for the Falcons.
For me, I think it also adds for Seidel knowing that his brother had been here, and he's both that entire family has been through that whole process of trying to get this field to happen, and now in his senior year, it has happened.
Yeah, I've met his dad a few times. I see his mom and dad at some of the games, and I saw him down at Sanford, and we were talking about it. And, Sammy started out just a powerhouse against Georgia Tech, and then he went into a little lull, and his dad, I said, hey, that's baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball is a game of failure. If you can't handle a failure, get out. And I said, Sammy's fine. This is baseball.
I think one of the most incredible parts about college baseball is this one's ripped to left field. Going back is Boyd. It's up and out of here. A 3-run bomb for Paulie Mancino against his former team. And Bowling Green's back in it, make it an 8-5 game.
The poetic and storybook moments continue to happen every single game of this series as Mancino gets a 3-run home run against his former team to keep the Falcons in this ball game.
I love that. So good.
One just snuck out of here, got enough on it, and that's the hit we were waiting for. Mancino now of this entire series. These first two games got it right there.
And a boy, Paulie.
We've talked about how many different poetic and storybook moments have come with this new field, and Paulie Mancino being able to do so against his former team, just icing on the cake.
It's terrific.
Yeah, you were out there cutting the ribbon. You threw out the first pitch. How was it to throw out the first pitch? I know you were putting a lot of work into that one.
Oh, my gosh. So all my baseball guys I grew up and played baseball with are texting me, and half of them, they're all saying, Hook, whatever you do, don't bounce it. And I got into my head. I said, oh, I know I'm going to bounce it. And at least I got it there, right? Didn't
Extended
embarrass
strike
myself.
zone, we'll count it.
Yeah, didn't
We'll
embarrass
count it.
myself.
Yeah. What was it like to see, all of the alumni's reactions that were here, and even the players coming up to you? Like, what was that running through your head like?
Well, the alumni, especially the guys, Dave Litzberger, and the guys that were the nucleus of bringing this program back, I have so much respect for. I mean, I'm humbled by all this because those are the guys that really did it. They're the heart of it. They brought it back, and I was so happy for them that we've got this complex now.
I mean, it is such an incredible story. I talked to Derek Vandermeer for the story as well, the director of athletics here, and he called it, a guy that's been around everything in college athletics said it's one of the best stories he's ever been around, and, it's something that gives him hope of what's possible, and that this alumni group has now proven to him that he's never going to tell them that anything's impossible because he thinks they'll just go out and try to prove him wrong.
That's very true. I mean, I remember I happened to be in business for all those years, and I don't have a whole lot of patience for getting things done. So, and I think of academia and government as layers and layers of meetings and meetings. And I told Derek from the beginning, I have no patience for this. The lights are the next project. I said, no, they got to be this project. So it was good to have somebody from the outside and a donor, kind of trying to push things along a little bit.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, it's funny. The lights just fit in. It just kind of looks right. Looks like it was meant to be here.
It really does. They were.
So the new pitcher in for Ohio is Dylan Masters. Masters pitched yesterday for the Bobcats. He went 2 innings, gave up 2 runs on 2 hits, and he comes in once again for Ohio, kind of a sidearm release. Will be interesting to see how Bowling Green adjusts to that.
Yeah, and the Bobcats having to make this change after that Mancino home run, keeping the Falcons within striking distance going into the final 2 innings.
And something else Coach also mentioned to me was, and this is something I believe as well, he talked about he has a good relationship with Dennis Williams, the hockey coach. Of course, the locker room swing over there makes sense. And he's like, hockey is important here. Slater Family Ice Arena, a big fixture, but it's also a Bowling Green is a baseball town. You look at Carter Park. He grew up playing there a ton. And I feel like the community has kind of showed here that, it is a baseball town. And I think this is one of the programs that this community has really wrapped their arms around.
Well, I think today shows it. It's a chilly day, and the place is 3/4 full. I mean, it's hard to have words as I'm looking at this field and watching this game. It's incredible.
Yeah, and I would say the biggest thing for me is the fact of there was 2 weeks where there might not have been a program, and to have it this quickly, within 5 years, 6 years, have it changed and have it be this impressive, have back-to-back 33-win seasons, just talk about how quick of a comeback it is.
Yeah, it's special, and a lot of that comes from Coach Halleck. I came back from spring training, and I got to meet my all-time hero, Tom Hamilton. Hammy's in the booth. And Hammy right away started talking about Kent State and Kyle Halleck. He said, Bowling Green's got a pretty good baseball coach out there. He said, I love the guy. And I said, yeah. I said, I know Coach Halleck pretty well. It was fun.
That's incredible. Yeah, that's I remember when 2024 run was going on. That, got national attention. Yep. And that's also something that, looking back on it, if that run doesn't happen, who knows where we are today.
That's absolutely true. Very true. Well, that was fun. I'm looking forward to the next MAC championship. That was going to Avon and watching that tournament, and I'm very proud of him.
The second baseman, Sam Seidel.
What were those reactions like from the players seeing you today? And seeing them on the turf and actually seeing it all in person, them playing on it.
I'll tell you, I was so happy as I went down and gave me a fist bump before the game, and the smiles and the personality and just the joy on their face of it's again something I won't forget.
Any mentions of steak dinners from any of them?
The story had to have been passed down.
Well, we had to do it again at Sanford, and we did it again, and it was great. Of course, the Nick Good story has been told so many times. And, of course, I saw Nick today and his parents and the whole thing.
Yeah. Strikeout from Scheiderer brings up Sam Seidel. Seidel, that huge home run yesterday, the grand slam, 0 for 3 today, looking to get back on track.
No better time to do it now than after the Mancino 3-run homer.
Looks at a strike. Count goes to 2-2. It was so poetic, though, yesterday with the timing of it all. Kind of hit that home run as the sun was beginning to go down. The lights were starting to glimmer on the field.
I wish I'd have been here.
Seidel goes down swinging, and that's how the 7th inning ends. But, Paul, it's been an honor for having you up here. I really appreciate you taking the time
I
to come up
appreciate you
here.
having me. I'm honored. Thank you so much.
Of course. So we go on to the 8th inning. Ohio leads Bowling Green 8-5, and you're listening to it right here on Falcon Radio.